It is 100% not true, and I don't order diet either.
I thought you were going to say 100% understandable.
No. Yeah. There's nothing even. They have
They say it to you.
They have this thing, this like running joke, but they insist it's true that I'm bad to wait staff, and they say it again and again and again. And they just now they're so hypersensitive to it that like. No matter what I say, I could be like, I'll take, I don't know, a steak, medium rare, green beans and potatoes. And they're like, he's at it again. And it's not. I'm not. I'm innocent. I didn't do anything. But it's always that.
At least I can admit it when I am rude to wait staff. When we got done with our survival trip.
It's because it's on camera. Like, is there any evidence of me ever being rude to wait staff?
I saw you holding the camera. I didn't give a shit. We were done with our survival.
Jumping in for a defense of Woody here. I've been out to eat with both of you multiple times. And I have never noticed Woody being rude to wait staff.
It's not actually true.
It's fun to pile on, which is why I do it. But I've never actually noticed him being like spitting Coke on her face. Is that diet? Come back in half an hour. Let me feel if it's sticky.
So what did Kyle do to wait staff?
All right. So here's what happened. We got done. I berated her. We got done with
her crime was not
trip.
being the hot waitress.
She was that too. So we all went out into the woods for a week with like virtually no food, and the whole time I'm thinking about the meal that comes at the end of the survival trip after 5 days of being in the woods. So we all get showered up, get back to my house, and then we go to a steakhouse. And yeah, we did get the ugliest waitress in the place. And I'm just going to throw this out here. If you're the least attractive waitress at a place, you would think you would put a little more effort into it and work for those tips. You would be the most dutiful waitress there. You'd be the one who was rushing to get that refill done, the one who's getting that appetizer out there within 12 minutes, like the card says. But no, she really let us down. Like, all the drink orders were late. We sat there with no refills for a long time. Our bread didn't come out until it was time for the appetizer. The appetizer didn't come out until it was time for the main course. And by the time the main course got there, I was literally giving her applause because it was just ridiculous. She was a cunt. She was bad at her job. She didn't deserve a tip, and I wouldn't have given her one. And that's just how I felt. And I would have called her a cunt to her face. I was ready to throw my drink in the floor and make a scene. It had been so long. I was literally about to throw my drink in the floor and be like, I've made a mess. Someone should come. Because she had been gone for so long, and it was pissing me the fuck off because I was starving.
And I sat next to Kyle. My evaluation of the situation was, she was a little slow, but I was cool.
That's not what Woody said at the time. At the time, I was like, am I overreacting here? Because I'm getting fucking pissed. I was like, I've been sitting here biting my tongue, but I'm getting pissed, and I can't take it. And Woody's like, no, this is no good. It's been too long. And Chiz was agreeing with me, too, big time. He was like,
now that's true. Chiz was Kyle's cheerleader. I thought I was, not invalidating his feelings.
You were tepid at best. You were, and then Patrick was with us, our British cameraman, and he was like, in England, that would have been a bit rude. And I was like, I was like, it's fucking rude here, too. I
remember that. That's a quote.
I was going for rude. like that's what I was going for there. However, Woody can be very curt and dismissive to wait staff without really meaning it. You'll do this thing sometimes. I wish the camera could see me, where you'll kind of like give him this sort of look of incredulity. Like you're shocked and surprised that they didn't come to the same conclusion you did. And then you kind of tell them what's up. You're like, no, we want 4 root beers. That's why we said root beers all around. And you kind of give them a look like they're stupid. But the main
not
ones
a real
where
example.
The main ones where I see you do it a lot. The main ones where I've seen you be discourteous to wait staff was the pizzeria.
That one time,
where you shouted the word "fuck."
No, that's not true.
I know you don't think it's true, Woody, but I heard you. You said something about how fucking late things were, or we should have had our fucking drinks by now, or something like that, and it was quite loud. And
it was like 20 minutes, I think, to get our drink, maybe 30. And his excuse was that he needed a bartender to open the beer because he was only 20. Apparently, that's the rule there. The thing is, there was a bartender 15 feet from us the entire 30 minutes. So, and she wasn't doing anything. The place was closing. She was just like wiping the bar. She wasn't busy or anything. And so to me, that was no excuse. You need a bartender? I've been looking at one for 30 minutes now. What's the scoop on why does it take that long to get a soda? And
I need very little from my server, but if I feel like I'm being disrespected intentionally in some way, I can really lose my shit in that scenario, and I have felt that way on multiple occasions for some reason. I feel discriminated against sometimes. If I were a black man, I'd be
how
like,
rough it must be.
Seriously, if I were a black man, I'd be looking at my
in
dick
Atlanta.
and being like, can you believe this racist shit that they're just ignoring me? That literally happened at Outback. Me and a girl are sitting there, and we're kind of in that section. It's next to the bar, and it's like a two-person like booth table. Like each of you has like half a booth or something, but you're next to the bar, so you're kind of in a no man's land for the wait staff. And I could literally see them over there arguing over who was going to take our table. Like nobody wanted to take our table, and I like they would accidentally make eye contact with me and then divert their eyes really quickly. And 15 minutes went by, and we didn't have menus. And I went to the greeter, and I was like, hey, could we get some menus? And she's like, yeah, here, take some of these. And like another 8 minutes went by. And so then when the waitress walked by, I like start waving my arms in the air, like flagging her down like I'm a refugee or something, like, hey. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Has no one waited on you yet? And I was like, they haven't. I've seen you over there with your friends arguing about who was going to take this table for the last 10 minutes. You're the worst waitress ever. I was like, You're not just bad at your job, you're lazy. Go get your manager. And she started to cry a little as she went to get the manager, and it was great. I loved it. Fuck her. I hope she lost her job and her house because of it.
I hope she's threading eyebrows at a food court right now.
Oh, that would be the best, right? I'd make her thread my pubic hair.
I never do anything mean to wait staff, ever. Like, as far as people who handle my food, I'm too anxious about it. I don't want any fluids ending up in there. The only time I did wasn't even my fault. When I've told that story before, when I had to dine and dash when I was like 15.
Yeah.
I think I've told you guys that, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Because my fucking asshole friend said he was paying for dinner, and then he changed his mind and left. And so then we had to leave after it was only like a $12 Whiskey River barbecue burger from Red Robin, but still I felt shitty. But yeah, I don't fuck with those people.
Yeah.
Especially not before you get your food.
I'm good 99% of the time. That's also like because I served I waited tables for a very, very long time, like through high school and part of college. But then there are those, like when you say like you didn't get something and there was like a bartender right there and you don't know why. Most likely that you got the server that's smoking weed out back. Like
that could have been it. Like, oh, by the way, we were his only customer. The place was wrapping up or something.
Oh yeah, that guy was just.
Because every restaurant usually has at least one guy that's like, that he's like, you're not sure how he hasn't gotten fired yet.
This guy looked more like he was out back doing a protein shake and some squat thrusts or something. This guy was fucking ripped. I was thinking that Woody might want to be careful how he talks to that big boy. I'd hate to.
He was short.
He
was short and fit.
Very fit.
Excuse me, sir. I'm less than enthused about your service thus far. If it's okay with you, I'd like my drink. Like,
nah, he was like 19. Woody could have used his grown-up voice and made that kid cry. 100%. 100%. That's how it goes down. Woody would have started shouting at it. It would have triggered some stuff from his stepdad back in the day, and he'd have squalled like a baby.
But yeah,
that's why he's getting so ripped. His stepdad beat him.
But that said, yeah, you definitely don't want to fuck with the staff because 100% shit does happen to your food.
Yeah, probably so. I don't mind that. At least they're adding some. At least I know my food's getting some serious attention back there. At least
if she's
I know
hot,
they're not going to
request it. Can I get a little spit?
Yeah,
little spit.
Do your worst.
Yeah,
do your worst.
Hey, I noticed I got I don't know, corn here. Can you lick it? Just a little.
Gross.
Oh, it's gross until she licks you directly, and then you're a big fan.
Yeah, I don't want to be licked transitively through my vegetable of choice. Like, that's disgusting. Yeah, lick this asparagus, babe. I'm gonna be thinking about that.
You're young. You start off a little vanilla. Time passes, and you wonder, like, hey, what else is out there?
Is that it? When you just get to be your age, you're so jaded by normal sex stuff. It's like, yeah, lick that corn. Oh yeah, you need a complex carb for what we're about to do.
Yeah, it's you can do the same thing for 20 years and not add to the menu. Come on.
Certainly not.
That makes sense.
Get a little corn licking in. Wow.
What was your did you ever get, or I guess, what was your worst experience waiting tables? Like the worst customer of all time that you had to deal with? Because I'm always curious with people in service industries about this story.
There was this one woman. She didn't catch me on a bad day. She was just the worst. Sent everything back. It was perfectly fine. Complained that she didn't get drinks, but that was because even when we did like 1/3 the ice in the cup that we normally do for sweet tea, like she would just down it, gone, and then she'd get angry as I did like one quick loop that I didn't get her more sweet tea fast enough. And at the Outback that we worked at, you weren't allowed to bring multiple cups for one person. So I couldn't help her other than just stay on top of this lady consuming. And she yelled at me and said the meanest shit ever. So when I say that people fuck with your food, I 100%.
You guarantee it.
I 100% peed in that lady's iced tea. 100%. And at that point in my life, I don't know if I had experienced true happiness until that moment.
She downed it all, huh?
Yes, of course.
How much pee are we talking about?
Were you very strategic about your pee, where you just had to do just.
It was a 1/3 situation, so it's still diluted.
No, but
So like
that,
one
There's so,
sugar.
but you don't understand how much sugar people put in sweet tea in the South.
It's a lot.
That was
Yeah.
probably still delicious.
It was, of course. She was like, Southern style. You're like, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. I don't
thought
do
there'd be
that
trace
stuff.
amounts
Like,
of pee. But
when I throw a fit at a restaurant, I feel like it's always justified. I feel like I'm not stepping out of line, and I usually wait until I got my food before I raise a stink.
Hold on.
More
let me
often than
interject.
not.
Of course, you think it's justified. No one's ever throwing a fit in a restaurant, being like, "This is unjustified," but you will make my baked potato different. Like, just
Now, I'll always ask the person with me. I'll try to get a barometer on this. I'll be like, "Hey, listen, I'm getting fucking pissed off over here. Am I out of line?" And usually the other person will be like, "No, I'm fucking steaming too. Where is he? Where is he?" We were in Savannah and we walked out of 2 restaurants in a row. We had to go to, it was the 3rd restaurant before we got served because I really felt like we were being racially discriminated by white people. It didn't make any sense. I was like, why are they just not taking care of us? Why aren't they coming over here? They see us. It's like they don't want to deal with us. Maybe the other restaurants told them about me.
There have been times that I've just been a shitty server, though. When I left Outback, I worked at Ruby Tuesdays for a while, and they were pretty horrible because instead of at Outback, they would cap you at 4 tables, like 4 6-tops, because that's a lot. That's a lot of food coming out, and this place didn't. And at one point, I had,
nothing.
At one point, I had 8 tables, and I completely forgot 1 table. I didn't realize it was in my section, and these people sat there for 40 minutes.
Fuck.
And they were obviously angry, but I was like, did you not ask anybody? Like, you were the most patient people, but not patient because, like, oh my God, they're the angriest. They were the angriest, justly. But I don't know. That's like
I know that feeling they had too. You know,
that's my only bad one, but it happens.
15 minutes go by, and you're like, all right, just stay calm. She'll be here in 5. And then 5 goes by, and then 10 goes by, and then you're like, wow. Are they doing this on purpose? Like, is someone fucking with me right now? Is Ashton Kutcher in the back? What is this bullshit, you know? And then at some point you're just like, oh, it's just disrespect. I see. This is personal. And it just starts eating at you until, like, she finally remembers your table and you just unload on her like the guns of the Navarone and insult her, like, stature or something. I was at the worst waitress I've ever had. At a Ruby Tuesdays with my ex-girlfriend. I order sweet tea. Unsweet tea comes back. I say, I know that I ordered sweet tea. This is unsweet tea. She takes it back and returns with unsweet tea again. And I said,
close.
I said almost. I was like, I wanted sweet tea, with sugar in it. I don't want to have to add anything to it. And this is Ruby Tuesdays in Atlanta, so like they know what sweet tea is. And so she leaves again, and she comes back with sweet tea that tastes so bad that I literally asked her for Coke. I was like, could I get a Coca-Cola? I was like, this is terrible. 3 times you failed on tea. Let's go to Coke. So 4th time around, I now have my beverage. I forgot to mention that she smells so much of shit that we checked our shoes to see if any of us had stepped in dog shit on the way in. I literally looked at my girlfriend. I'm like, honey, I think you might have stepped in something. I was like, did you step in Cooper's poop maybe when you left the house, or little dog? And she's like, nah. We both check our shoes. We look around on the floor. There's no dog shit. And then our waitress comes back with the appetizer. And I'm like, oh, That's what the smell is. She literally smelled like poop. And everything was wrong about that night. Like multiple failures where you had to like say, hey, I didn't get my baked potato. Oh, well, we'll just put one in for you. And I'm like, okay, I don't really want a baked potato in half an hour though. It was a real mess, and that's the one I tipped 0. I definitely didn't give her a tip, and my girlfriend made a big deal of that, and I was like, why do you tip someone who smells like poop and messes up your drink order 3 times? Like, how do they get a bonus at the end of the night? Yeah, I feel like we're sending her the wrong message if we reward her for smelling like poop and failing completely at her job.
If you tip her, you're tacitly saying it is okay that you served me my food smelling of feces.
Yeah,
and that's
and she really did smell like it smelled like poop. It wasn't BO. It wasn't like I've smelled like. I mean, I've been to Walmart before. I've smelled BO.
You know what she needs? One wipe Charlie's.
She is not a one wipe Charlie. She needs a 18 wipe Sandra. This was so stinky.
A little one wipe Charlie would have cleaned her right up, and it would have been a whole different experience for her.
Well, maybe more than one of them. They're not magic, but for a normal human being's asshole, one is sufficient.
But I realized that the waiting tables is a really tough job, and when especially just an average job, as long as you keep me, you keep my drink pretty much filled. I usually tip 20 or 30%. But if they stand out, they're an excellent waiter. That guy could get $100 if it's a nice meal or something like that as his tip. I just use the same that. And there's that end of the bell curve, and on the other end, there's 0. Like, it can go down to 0. Like, some people think that's not classy or something, but it's not like I'm leaving them a 4-cent tip to rub it in or anything. I'm just saying, like, no, you didn't earn a tip tonight.
I've only tipped 0 once, but it really does have to be horrific. Like, almost like they're actively sabotaging your dining experience.
I hand out the 0s probably more readily than you. If I feel like they're just legitimately.
What?
I hand out the nickels if I need to. It's been a long time. But, like, for example, there's a loud party here, and they seat me next to them, and I'm like, hey, can we sit here instead? And they say no.
Yeah.
Oh, you might have a nickel in your future. You're trending that way already.
This guy, one of my friends, I must have been like 7 or 8. When I would go to dinner or lunch or something, out to lunch with this friend's family, because I was on the hockey team with him, and sometimes they would drive me to games and stuff, and then afterward they'd be like, hey, you guys want to go get whatever food? We get chicken wings at Mulligan's or something. Like, yeah. So we go. And this guy, at the beginning of every fucking meal we had with him, I don't know why he had so many ones on him all the time. Looking back, maybe I have a clue now, but maybe he went to strip clubs. But he would start out every meal with $20 in ones put in the middle of the table.
He did that?
And
he made this move?
He would have $20 in ones put there, and anytime something was less than perfect, he would take $1 back off of his potential tip money. And so it's like, oh, I'm sorry, let me get you a refill. I see that your tea's been empty for a while. All right, well, it looks like we're down to 16, Sandra. Now, even at that age, I was like, what kind of fucking game show is Mr. Johnston running right now? Like, what the fuck? Like, this is not, like, to me, looking at that waiter, like, when you're like 7 and you see someone who's like 18, you're like, that's an adult. But looking back, it's like, no, this guy was tormenting children, just trying to, make enough money to drive their car to school and back. And by taking out, that's, steaks medium rare, wanted it medium. That's $3 or just some nonsense. That guy was an asshole.
That's a pretty shitty deal.
His son was an asshole too. So, apple doesn't fall far. Anyway, I don't know why that came to me all of a sudden.
So when's the primary? It's Saturday maybe? It's super. No, the caucus, the Iowa caucus.
Oh, I was like, I don't think it's for a bit. Yeah, I'm not sure.